Formula One never stops, and behind the scenes, things are more hectic than ever. While the teams fight for every thousandth of a second on the track, off the track, the war is one of strategy, image, and of course, a lot of money. In the next few minutes, we're going to dive into 3 stories that show exactly that. A car livery that is pure audacity, a sustainability milestone that could change the game, and the Mercedes contract saga that has finally concluded, but with details that raise many questions about the future. Stay tuned, because we're going to analyze what's really behind each of these headlines. Let's start with the visual spectacle we'll be treated to at the United States Grand Prix. Racing Bulls, formerly AlphaTauri, has unveiled a completely new and, let's say, unusual livery for the event in Austin. In partnership with Cash App and country music star Shaboozey, the team will hit the track with a black and amber tortoiseshell pattern. Yes, you heard that right, a tortoise. The inspiration comes from Cash App's new Tortoise card, a prepaid Visa debit card being launched in the United States. This isn't just a change to the car. The drivers' race suits, the team kit, and even the garage at the Circuit of the Americas will sport this new look. The reveal was done in style, with a video starring Shaboozey himself, singer of the hit A Bar Song Tipsy, and former Barstool Sports personality Caleb Presley. But what does this tortoise livery really mean? Peter Beyer, the team's CEO, laid it out. Once again, we have tapped into culture in a way that's uniquely V-Carb. These special liveries have become part of our identity, moments where motorsport meets music, fashion, and creativity. And he's right. This is the 3rd time this year that Racing Bulls has raced with a unique livery. We had the pink edition in Miami and a special design in Silverstone to celebrate their sponsor, Hugo. The team is clearly embracing a new identity, one much more connected with Gen Z, as Beyer himself admitted. He explained that 2 years ago, as AlphaTauri, the pressure to be commercially successful or to have a clear identity was lower. The focus was on junior driver development. Now, it's a different story. They're trying to bring back some of Red Bull's original values. Don't take yourself too seriously, work hard, and have fun. And that's clear when you see the drivers, Ishak Hadjar and Liam Lawson, participating in all the crazy social media ideas the team comes up with. Beyer used a brilliant analogy to explain this transformation. He compared the team to a 3-story building, inspired by a visit to the Van Shoes headquarters. On the 1st floor, you have the party, the skateboarding, the music, the fun stuff, the identity of Racing Bulls. On the 2nd floor, there's the communications department, where things start to get more serious. And on the 3rd floor, you have the engineers and strategists, the hardcore part of the business, fighting for thousandths of a second. It's the conscious decision to turn a hardcore business into an entertainment experience. It's Formula One transforming itself, and Racing Bulls is at the forefront of this image shift. So that we can keep bringing you these in-depth analyses, showing what happens behind the scenes in Formula One, your support is crucial. Since this channel isn't monetized, the best way to help us grow is completely free. If you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button below and subscribe to Formula News USA so you don't miss a thing. And tell us in the comments what city you're watching from. It's incredibly important for us to see how far our content is reaching. Your subscription and your comment tell the YouTube algorithm that our channel is relevant, helping us reach even more Formula One fans just like you. Now, stepping away from image and marketing, let's move to an area that is increasingly crucial in sports: sustainability. And in that regard, Mercedes has just announced an impressive milestone. The team confirmed that during the entire European leg of the 2025 season, between the races at Imola and Monza, 99% of the fuel used in its race and marketing trucks was HVO 100 biofuel. For those unfamiliar, HVO 100 is a 2nd-generation hydro-treated vegetable oil, a sustainable fuel that Mercedes has been implementing in its fleet. And the progress is remarkable. In 2023, in their first attempt to use the biofuel for the entire European season, they achieved a 67% reduction in emissions, exceeding their initial goal of 60%. In 2024, that number jumped to 98%. And now, in 2025, they have reached an impressive 99%. The obvious question is, why not 100%? The answer lies in the complexity of logistics. The availability of HVO100 still varies greatly depending on the location in Europe. In unexpected situations, like a route diversion or higher than expected fuel consumption, the team has to fall back on regular diesel in a splash and dash strategy. This shows the practical challenges that still exist, but also the scale of Mercedes' effort to get so close to full coverage. And what's most interesting is that HVO100 is a drop-in solution, meaning it requires no modifications to the truck engines. This initiative is part of a much larger plan. Mercedes has a target to achieve carbon neutrality across all its operations by 2040, with an intermediate goal for the race team's emissions by 2030. Alice Ashpedal, the team's head of sustainability, stated that their strategy is built on innovation on and off the track, and that every kilometer traveled using biofuel brings the team closer to its net zero goal. But what's the practical effect of this? Over the last 4 years, the use of HVO100 has prevented the emission of approximately 1,190 tons of CO2, an 81% reduction in life cycle emissions compared to standard diesel. The numbers are significant. And it doesn't stop there. Mercedes also completed its first fully electric long-distance transport run, using an e-Actro 600 truck to haul the cars from Brackley to Zandvoort in the Netherlands, a round trip of 673 kilometers, about 418 miles. Furthermore, the team is investing heavily in sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. The expectation is a reduction of 10,500 tons of CO2 in 2025, a considerable increase from the 8,000 in 2024. Team principal Toto Wolff made it clear that emissions reduction is at the heart of their operations. He highlighted that from 2022 to 2025, their investment in SAF will result in a reduction of over 27,000 tons of carbon. It's a strategic move not only to reduce their environmental impact, but also to support the growth and credibility of the SAF market, leading the way for other teams and companies. While Racing Bulls innovate in communication, Mercedes shows that technological innovation behind the scenes is also a race towards the future. And now, we arrive at the topic that has dominated paddock chatter and rumors for months: the future of Mercedes' driver lineup. After much speculation, the Brackley-based team has finally put an end to the saga and confirmed. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli will be their drivers for the 2026 season. Both have signed new contracts, securing their places at the team for the start of Formula One's new era of regulations. Although Toto Wolff had already signaled this was the intention, the delay in the official announcement fueled all sorts of rumors, especially about the future of George Russell. The driver market was buzzing with the possibility of the Brit's departure, who has been with the team since its junior program in 2017. Now, with the signing of what sources say is a multi-year deal, that speculation is over. In Antonelli's case, it's suggested that his contract is only a one-season extension, which is understandable for a rookie still finding his footing in the category. Toto Wolff commented on the decision. "Confirming our driver lineup was always just a matter of when, not if. We wanted to take our time, handle the negotiations properly, and make sure everyone, on all sides, was happy. I'm pleased we have done that." He praised the duo, saying that George and Kimi have proved to be a strong pairing and that the team is excited to continue their journey together. Russell also spoke out, expressing his pride in continuing the partnership. "Next year will mark my 10th since I signed with Mercedes back in 2017. It has been such a long and successful partnership with the team so far, and I can't wait to see what lies ahead, particularly as we embark on one of the largest regulation changes in the sport's history." Meanwhile, the young Kimi Antonelli was super excited. "I've learned so much in my first season in F1, both in the good moments and the more challenging ones. Those have all made me stronger, not only as a driver, but as a teammate too." The confirmation of the lineup isn't a surprise, especially after it became clear that Mercedes wouldn't succeed in luring Max Verstappen away from Red Bull. But the 3-month delay in making what seemed obvious official raises questions. Sources close to the situation indicate Russell's deal is multi-year, while Antonelli's might only be for 2026. The lack of transparency about the contract lengths, particularly Russell's, is a curious detail. If he is the driver chosen to lead the team long-term, why isn't Mercedes shouting this from the rooftops like Ferrari with Leclerc or McLaren with its drivers? The answer, as always in F1, might have a name: Max Verstappen. Rumors about a potential move for Verstappen to Mercedes emerged strongly in 2024. Russell himself added fuel to the fire by saying that Mercedes was chasing the best drivers amidst ongoing conversations with the Dutchman. Toto Wolff, for his part, was transparent with Russell during the negotiations. He admitted that, with the uncertainty around Max's future, they spoke with the four-time champion. Wolff told George, "90% he would stay with us, but I also needed to talk to Verstappen. Now that the situation is clarified, everything can return to normal." But this shadow of Verstappen seems to have been a crucial factor in the timing and perhaps the terms of the new contract. But in the end, what exactly held up these negotiations for so long? The finer details that needed to be worked out went far beyond salary and contract length. Russell himself hinted that one of the sticking points was the number of off-track commitments, like marketing days with sponsors and time in the simulator. For a top-tier driver, balancing these obligations with personal life and preparation is crucial. He mentioned that at 28, he's learned what's important and that race weekends are just the tip of the iceberg of a driver's job. And of course, there was the financial side. Russell proved he could outperform a 7-time world champion and go head-to-head with the best on the grid, like Verstappen, Leclerc, and Norris, drivers who are believed to be on considerably higher pay packets. It's natural that Russell and his management would seek a significant salary revision, reportedly around £30 million per year, to align his value with his on-track performance. However, the most complex issue was the contract length and the shadow of Max Verstappen. Mercedes, pragmatically, knows that a driver like Verstappen doesn't become available often. F1 veterans Jolyon Palmer and Rob Smedley analyzed the situation and agreed. Mercedes wants the best possible athlete, and that athlete is Max Verstappen. Smedley recalled that the team offered Lewis Hamilton a 1+1 deal, leaving the future open. The logic is simple. If they did that with a 7-time champion to keep the door open for Antonelli, they would certainly do the same with Russell if the prize was Verstappen. That's why the announcement was so carefully worded, mentioning only 2026, even though the deal likely extends into 2027. It's a form of mutual protection. Mercedes doesn't close the door on a golden opportunity in 2027 should Verstappen decide to leave Red Bull. And Russell, in turn, isn't locked in if Mercedes fails to deliver a winning car in 2026. He would be free to explore options at teams like Aston Martin with Adrian Newey's first car, or even Red Bull should Max's seat become available. At the end of the day, what we have is a calculated bet from both sides amidst the biggest uncertainty F1 has seen, the new 2026 regulations. Nobody knows who will get it right. Russell has naturally stepped into the leadership role at Mercedes following Hamilton's departure, and now the ball is in his court. He needs to deliver on track and prove that the team doesn't need to look elsewhere. Otherwise, the speculation will continue, and his seat will be at risk of just being kept warm for another driver. And this complexity, this web of strategies and possibilities, is what makes Formula One so fascinating. Now, I want to know your opinion. What do you all think of this situation? Is Mercedes right to keep the door open for Verstappen, or should they have given Russell a long-term contract and their full confidence? Leave your comment down below. Let's debate it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe to Formula News USA, and share this video with a friend who is also addicted to F1. Your engagement is the fuel for this channel. Because we aren't monetized, every subscription and every comment directly helps us grow and reach more people. It's the single most important way you can support our work, and we appreciate it immensely. A big thank you, and see you in the next video.